Alright guys, welcome to a new video. Today we're here with the 490. We're going to be trying to tune this thing. Last video you guys saw on it, it wasn't running properly. It bogged in first, second, third gear, then finally would open up in fourth gear, and it was always very boggy, non-responsive, and the top speed was there, but it took a while to get up to the top speed. So today we're going to look at the carburetor. I think that's the main issue with the bike. We're going to check the float height, we're going to check the pilot jet, we're going to check the air screw, we're going to check the main jet, we're going to check the needle height, and yeah, we're going to check all that good stuff. We're also going to check the pipe, see if that's plugged up or clogged. That could be causing issues as well. I'm going to take another look at the air filter and see if that is dirty and go from there. We should be able to get it fine-tuned. I'm not sure if I have the correct jets yet, but if not, I'll just order some new ones and we can go from there. But yeah, this has been bothering me quite a bit, so I really want to get fine-tuned before I sell it, and hopefully we can do a race between the 250, the CR 250R, and really give it a good test drive. So that's the plan for today. Hopefully we can get it fine-tuned and ready to rip. I've got a list of stuff that we should check. I watched Cameron, I don't know how to spell it, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, his video on how to tune a carb, and he said that he usually starts with the float height and works his way from the float height, get that tuned and fine-tuned in, which I read on how to do right here. So basically you're going to check the float height from the top of the float to the bottom of the gasket, and you're going to check that height. In the manual it says it's supposed to be 27 millimeters is the float height. So we're going to set the float height to 27 millimeters, and then we're going to go from there. So from there we're going to check the pilot jet by starting up the bike, warming it up, letting the bike warm up for a couple minutes, and then getting it hot, right, nice and warm, and then we're going to turn out the air fuel mixture screw, which is this screw right here. We're going to turn out this screw. We're going to turn out this screw, right, where is it? Might be on the other side. I bet you it's on the other side of the bike. Here's the fuel air mixture screw right here. We're going to turn that guy out 3 turns, which is making it a more air come into the bike. But we're going to adjust that, and basically the video I watched was explaining how the air mixture screw and the pilot jet communicate kind of, and that kind of controls the pilot jet, which is, I believe it's 1/4 throttle. So then we're going to go from once we get the air mixture screw and the pilot jet all fine-tuned, we're going to go to the needle and adjust that. I watched the video, so you're supposed to ride it, and it's kind of like the throttle response. I think it goes up to like 1/4 to 3/4 throttle, and you're going to be able to hear it. And yeah, we're going to check that out with the GoPro. Then we're going to go to the main jet. So that's the steps we're going to go in. If that doesn't work, we're going to check the pipe and the air filter. So let's get going on this. First step is to take out the carburetor. To take out this carburetor, all you need to do is take off the gas line and these few lines, and it looks like an 8mm bolt right here, and another 8mm right here. And then the carburetor actually just slides out of this bike. There's no subframe or anything you have to take off. So it's actually pretty nice. So we're going to take off the carburetor, look at the inside, and then adjust the float height first. Put it back in the bike, then we'll go from there and listen to what it sounds like. Alright guys, so we have this carburetor apart. The floats are in here. It's a little bit different than a standard newer dirt bike where the float would be attached to here. So it's a different way of testing it. The book says that you're going to hold the carburetor in an upside down position, incline the carburetor at 60 to 70 degrees so that the end of the float valve does not hang down of float height, or of float weight, and measure the distance from the mating surface of the float chamber, gasket removed, to the top of the float using a gauge. And it's supposed to be 27 plus 1 millimeter. And it gives you a picture of how to do it. So basically what it's going to be is you can see the gasket is sitting on this surface right there. That's the surface you're going to be measuring from. And then this, where this hangs down, not pushing this in, it's supposed to be just sitting there like that. So you're gonna hang it at that 70 degrees, and you're gonna measure from the tip of this to the base of this, underneath this gasket, that metal surface. And it's supposed to be 27 millimeters. So I've got the ruler here with me. We're gonna quick do that and test it. I'm gonna tell you guys what this is set at, and then we're gonna set it back to 27, and see if that makes a difference. And then we're gonna go on to the pilot jet and air mixture screw and tune that when it's in the bike running. So let's set the float height. I'm curious to see what that is at. So let's see here. I don't have a feeler gauge or anything, so we're gonna just have to use this. So hold this at, it says remove the gasket. So we're gonna remove this gasket. That's about, this gasket is about 1 millimeter thick. So it would throw off your measurements quite a bit. Then we're gonna put this at the base of this right here. So right now, we are measured in at 23. Let's see here. .24 we're at right now. 24 millimeters is what we're at. So we're gonna up the float height a little bit more. So to up the float height, you're going to push down that little tab, and that's going to raise the float height. You can see the tab in there. It's just a small tab sitting right there. So we're gonna adjust it by pushing that little tab down with a screwdriver. All right, let's check that measurement again. We're at 27 right now. So a little bit more, and we'll be at, oh no, we're at 27. About right at 27. So the float height is set. That should be perfect. Now let's put it back in the bike, check the fuel, air mixture screw, and the pilot jet. So let's get this bike started up and check that. Alright, so before we put the carburetor back in the bike, I just want to see what the spec pilot jet and main jet is running at, just so we can make adjustments based on that. So let's just take a look at what the pilot jet is. It's right in this little groove in the carburetor, so just take that out. Should pop right out. So this is a 40 pilot jet right here, and according to the book we should be running a 50 pilot jet, which is based on certain conditions. So maybe the guy that had this bike before tuned it and he used a 40 pilot jet. So let's just put that back in for now. We might be changing that later. And I will have to order some new jets from Amazon. You can screw this all the way in so it's tight. Then we're just going to check the main jet here quick. Let's just see what we're running here for the main jet. It looks like we're running a 430 main jet, so that's going to be the spec main jet is supposed to be 440. So again, it's 10 clicks lower, 10 sizes lower than this one. So that could be the issue right there. We're going to see though. So just put that back in, and we'll come back to that later. So now we're gonna put the carburetor back together, put it on the bike, and start the bike up. And then we're going to adjust the air fuel mixture screw. Alright, so before we put the carburetor back in, I just want to check what the specs are for this. This is the needle, and there are little clips in here that adjust it to lower it and higher up the needle. So we're going to take a look and see what that's at before we start really fine-tuning this carburetor. So let's take that apart and see where that clip position is at. Alright guys, got the needle out. So as you guys can see, the clip position is right smack dab in the middle. It is 1, 2, 3 clicks down and 1, 2, 3 clicks up. So directly in the middle. So we have some wiggle room to move it up or down. We'll come back to this. This is the second step in tuning the carburetor. So this will be coming back to that, but now I know that's directly in the middle, so I can move it up or down depending on how the bike sounds. So we'll come back to this. Let's put the carburetor back in the bike and adjust the air fuel mixture screw. Alright guys, now we're going to start up the bike and get it warmed up for about 5 minutes before we start tuning it. Alright guys, so we're going to let the bike warm up for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to twist the air screw out 3 turns and then start from there. So that's what we're going to do. And what we're listening for is the perfect idle. We want the perfect idle. Alright, so I just did 3 turns out. Now we're going to turn it back and see where it idles perfectly. I'm going to turn it all the way in and then all the way back out. You guys can hear the difference. Alright guys, I'm going to check here what we are for the air mixture screw, how many turns out we are, and just check that quick. So we are 1, 2, 2 1/4. 1, 2, 2 1/4. So we're 2 1/4 turns out, which is actually pretty good. If you're past the 2.5 mark, you're gonna have to change your pilot jet. If you're under like 1 turn, then you're gonna have to change the pilot jet. So I think we're right in spec, so that's good. Now we're going to take it for a test drive and see where we are in relation with the needle. So the needle is going to control that 1/4 to 3/4 throttle. I believe it's 3/4. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 1/4 to 3/4 throttle. So when you go blip, it should just take off. It shouldn't hesitate. It shouldn't do anything like that. And then we will either lower the needle or lower or higher the needle based on what it sounds like when we ride it. So right now we've got the pilot jet all tuned in and the air mixture screw, which controls the pilot jet, all tuned in, and that's ready to go. So that's good, and that was with the choke off. So we should be good there. Yeah, so let's get going. Let's take it for a GoPro ride and see what it sounds like. Alright guys, so let's go quick take a ride in the 490. We're going to be listening for the 1/4 to 3/4 throttle response. I believe that's what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong again. But we're going to be listening for the needle position. So the higher up in the needle, the richer you go, and the lower down the needle is, the leaner it is. So a rich bike is going to sound kind of boggy. It's going to hesitate to take off. It's not going to really sound that great. It's not going to be crispy or anything. And a very lean bike is going to sound really lean. It's going to be really, really crispy, and the idle will be kind of up and stay up when you give it some revs. It'll be like, ring, and then like a boggy will be boo, 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 like that. So before, in the video, last video, it definitely sounded super rich. So I'm guessing we're going to have to go down in the needle, like lower the needle position down further. That means you go up the needle. So you put the clip up higher in the needle, so the needle goes down further. So that's basically what I feel like we're going to have to do. But we're going to check it out, we're going to see, and hopefully we can get it going. So let's take it for a quick ride here and see. I did change the float height quite a bit, so maybe that helped. But I'm not sure. So you just switch the fuel to on right here. Don't have the choke on, it should be warmed up by now. Just the adjustment for the air screw, which is 2 1/4 turns out. So that's good to go. Probably right up. Alright, so the audio cut out on this part of the video, but basically the bike was super boggy and it had like no acceleration. So I think that the needle is going to have to go quite a bit down in order to lean out the mixture. So that's what I was talking about in the video. We're going to cut right to the clip of me putting the needle in the bike and putting the notch down a little bit further. So stay tuned for that. As you can hear, the bike is not sounding good at all. It is very boggy, and you can clearly hear that in the video here. So hopefully the audio is not too bad. You can still hear what the bike sounds like. Alright guys, so we're just going to take off the slide here quick and get to that needle. And what we're going to do is put the clip 2 places up, which will essentially lower the needle position. So let's take the carburetor out. To take this off, you're just going to hold it up like this. There's that little clip in there. Put it down like that. This will come out. Then there are 2 screws in here that hold the needle into place. So take those 2 out. Little fly landing on my hand. So this will just come out like that. That one's still in there pretty good. So this whole mechanism's gonna come out. That just holds the needle in place. And then the needle can come out right here. So here's the needle. As you guys can see, the clip is in the middle position. We're gonna hire it all the way to the end position. So take a needle nose pliers. It's gonna go like this. Now the clip is at the top position, which is going to lower the needle because it sits further down, and that is going to lean out the mixture. So put this back into the carburetor, and we'll take it for a GoPro ride and see what the difference that makes. Alright, so this clip, I don't know what's going on with my GoPro audio, but hopefully you guys can kind of hear what the bike sounds like. Basically, I'm just flipping the throttle in first, second, and third gear, and as you guys can see, it's a lot more responsive. It's when you blip it, it actually accelerates fast. As before, it was kind of like brr, kind of like going out, and now it's very responsive and very crispy. Yeah. at the end of the video, I do a couple little wheelies where I flip it and the front end pops up. That never happened before. Alright guys, so we just got done with the test drive with the needle position up 2 clicks, which is lowering it, and that seemed to up the acceleration a lot. And now when you crank on the throttle really quick, it doesn't do the brrr, it really pops it up. The front wheel comes up in first, second, third gear, and it was doing that in the gears before it ran out of gas here. But yeah, so I'm really happy with that improvement. I think we're going to now check the main jet. So what we're going to do is put some more gas in it, then give it a full throttle, because the main jet affects full throttle, and if it's really boggy on full throttle, that means it's going to be way too rich. And if it's really like lean, it'll be the exact same. It'll be like very crisp in the sound. You can kind of hear it. It's like a whistle sound. So according to the manual, the standard setting is 440. We're running a 430 right now, so we are a little bit lean, which it could be that's what the bike is set at. But it says the larger the number, the richer the mixture. The smaller the number, the leaner the mixture. So right here, we've got the 430 in there. We're going to take it for a test drive and see what the top speed sounds like. It's not top speed, I guess it's full throttle. So we're gonna go full throttle in first gear and second gear and just see if it really leans out or is too rich. And then that'll determine what we need to get for the main jet. And after that, we can go from there. We can check the air filter and the pipe and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. We're gonna take another ride on the bike and see what type of main jet we're looking for. Alright guys, just got done with that run. So we were listening for bogginess on full speed in first and second and third gear, and what I heard was it idled up high and it took a while to come down, so that tells me it's lean. It was just really hard to tell on this bike. The clutch is slipping a little bit, so it's just making it really hard to tell if it's revving out all the way or not. If you guys know, definitely leave a comment below and tell me, because I will buy the jet for it, the correct jet for it. But I just need to know if it's higher or lower. Right now we're doing a 130 and it calls for a 140. So I don't know if we need to go down to like a 125, 127 to 128. But yeah, so anyway, that's the bike right now as it sits. We definitely improved acceleration by lowering that needle down, and I think it runs a lot better just because of that. I also changed the float height, which that could help a little bit too. I also tuned in the pilot jet by using the air fuel mixture screw, which we are at 2 1/4 turnout. So that's what that set is. That's what that's set at. So everything is pretty much good except for the main jet. That's pretty much all we have left to tune in the carburetor. The other stuff I'm going to wait on. I still have to check the pipe and the air filter. That's going to be next video. So hopefully I will have the jets for the carburetor, and then we can look at the pipe and the air filter and see what those look like. So right now, so if you guys want to go follow my Instagram, it's called 2_vintage_. I post behind the scenes, and just posted this picture a little while ago on the dirt bike. Got the KDX up there too. But I post all the behind the scenes in the story. So right here, tuning the 490. That's the video from today. So you guys get the first updates on that. I also have a Snapchat. It's the2vintage. You can go follow that as well. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. More to come on this 490. I really want to get it tuned in and perfect. I know it's tough to do on these 490s, but I'm trying. So leave me some positive comments below, and helpful comments are the best. If you guys know what to do with the main jet, that would be awesome. And yeah, so anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and until next time, we are out.